Modern culture is organized around a specific pursuit. We are told, constantly, that the primary goal of life is to find yourself. Pop psychology and therapy speak frame this true self as a hidden metaphysical jewel. The idea is that if you dig deep enough, past the expectations of others, you will uncover a pure, authentic essence that was there all along. But Michael Puett, a historian and anthropologist at Harvard, argues that this search for a hidden self is actually dangerous. The danger lies in a category error. We mistake the current arrangement of ruts, reflexes, and defensive routines for an essence. We accumulate these habits over time, and they eventually solidify into a rigid structure. When we say, "This is just who I am," we justify our limitations. We embrace a sediment instead of a soul, giving our worst habits a halo. This quest for authenticity usually results in falling in love with a collection of ruts. We end up mistaking a long-term symptom for our identity. To understand why we are so attached to these rigid identities, we have to look back at the thinkers who defined the 19th century. The sociologist Max Weber famously described modern life as an iron cage. He traced the origins of this cage to early Protestant anxieties about predestination. Early Calvinists believed their fate was already decided by God. Since they could never know for sure if they were chosen, they fell into a loop of endless work and discipline, hoping their worldly success would signal their status. Today, we run a secular version of that treadmill. We overachieve and hustle to prove our worth and our fixed identity to the world. What society celebrates as drive is often just a state of panicked exhaustion. We are struggling to prove who we are because we are terrified we might not be enough. This is a map of the British Empire from 1886. It illustrates the imperialist framework that 19th century Western thinkers used to judge other cultures. But when we look at Chinese philosophy on its own terms, we find a different model. This tradition offers a powerful alternative. We can abandon the anxiety of self-discovery for the active practice of self-transformation. This requires us to rethink the word ritual. In the West, ritual is often dismissed as a dead ceremony or restriction on personal freedom. Chinese philosophers saw ritual as a technology of denaturalization, a deliberate interruption of our automatic behaviors. Consider the no blushing ritual. Inside a sacred space, a father and son swap roles. The father becomes the son, and the son becomes the father. This is an embodied and physical practice. By forcing participants to inhabit a different subject position, it breaks generational tensions and makes our invisible habits visible. This changes our definition of vitality. It's not about breaking rules to assert your greatness. It's about refining energy to genuinely connect with others. Applying these tools today changes our basic orientation. The goal moves from proving yourself to improving yourself. This is a street in Tokyo. To a person on autopilot, it is a blur. But we can use the morning commute as a ritual of attention, a training session in noticing a world that exists outside our own heads. We can apply it to how we read. Instead of racing through a poem to prove our authority, we can treat reading as a ritual of humility and listening. We can apply it to spirituality. Prayer or meditation becomes less about defending an identity and more about cultivating gratitude toward the universe. The self is no fixed, magical essence that we are born to discover, nor is it a lazy, postmodern fiction where nothing matters. The self is a practiced arrangement, a pattern continually formed by training and deliberate relation to others. What we stubbornly defend as who I am is often just the part of ourselves that has not yet been interrupted.